thank you very much for inviting me here. I hope I have enough knowledge and creativity to fill up the time that you have given me. What we're about to talk about is literally a new field. It is a new discipline that is a coming together of a variety of other existing traditions in the entertainment industry. And its radicalism, in fact, is because you are bringing together aspects of the university that normally are separate. In other words, fine arts and computer science. When I first got to Carnegie Mellon in 1981, it was inconceivable that anyone from drama would go over to computer science and work with them. It was inconceivable. Likewise, it was inconceivable that the computer scientists would come over to fine arts. But under the visionary leadership of the president of Carnegie Mellon, named Jerry Cohen, and the reality that the world was changing, that Hollywood was changing, the decision was made, okay, let's try it. What would happen if you allowed and brought together artists and technologists to create a new world? I mean, what exactly would result? We are always talking about interdisciplinary, and you will see from this graph that the Entertainment Technology Center is precisely that intersection of artists and technologists. But the important thing is to realize that neither side is in service to the other. In other words, the artists are not there to work for the technologists, and the technologists are not there to work for the artists. It is literally, how can we come together to create things that haven't been done before? I did not do this by myself. This was done by bringing together a professor of computer science, Randy Pausch, together with me. I trust and presume many of you know Randy Pausch. Randy is probably the most famous computer scientist who ever lived because of his journey and battle against cancer that occurred. Now, when we first got together, Randy and I, we thought we would make fun. We would take light of our coming together. So we always said that it was Donald Marinelli on guitar and Randy Pausch on keyboards, meaning the computer. And Randy and I worked together for 6 years. We shared an office this close, desks together, and it was, okay, I'm from drama. I don't know anything about computer science. And Randy saying, well, I'm from computer science. I don't really know anything about drama. And so we both had to say, teach me. We both had to say, look, I'll convey to you everything I know about drama and the arts that I think you need to know. Please do the same. And so Randy and I worked together for 6 years. If you saw his last lecture, I'm the person he refers to as the tornado. All right? And I'm proud of being the tornado. The next slide is the last photo that Randy and I had together, and it was done in the spring of this year. And then he died in July, and the result has been tremendous international attention about the Entertainment Technology Center. So let's talk about the ETC. When we were founded on 3 pillars. First was the creation of an educational program. We offer the world's only Master of Entertainment Technology degree. Secondly was we were going to view industry as our partner. And when we say industry, we mean the for-profit industry as well as the not-for-profit industry. Not-for-profits, of course, are colleges, universities, hospitals, museums, NGOs, non-government organizations, and the like. For-profit means for-profit. Companies like Lockheed Martin, like Northrop Grumman, like game companies, Disney, Electronic Arts, you name it. And the third component part was entrepreneurialism. We want the students to apply their education in the creation of new companies, in the licensing of technology, in the patenting of ideas, because one of the things that makes this possible is that Carnegie Mellon University has the most liberal intellectual property agreements of any American university. The students own the work that they make. They own it lock, stock, and barrel. The company has the right, a non-exclusive right, to commercialize it, but the original source code, the original information, is owned entirely by the students. That means the students have the opportunity, they have the incentive to create companies, to spin off companies, basically to try to make money from what they are doing. And I'm all in favor of that. See, I come from the theater. Most of my students are the most talented waiters in the world. We need more talented waiters, but if you're going to spend $120,000 on your education, get a job. Okay. Let's take a look at why a program like this is necessary. It is necessary because young people today are not the same as young people of my generation, and definitely not the same as people of my parents' generation or grandparents' generation. Why? First of all, as you can see from this list that I have compiled, generations are changing now at a tremendous pace. There is no such thing as a teenager. Ask anyone in retail. A 13-year-old is not the same as a 15-year-old. A 16-year-old is not the same as a 17-year-old. No 17-year-old would be caught dead reading 17 magazine. 12-year-olds read 17 magazine, so they know what they're supposed to be like when they grow up. Also, there's a perception of time, and the planetary space is very different. Because of technology, the boundaries of time and space have come down. I'm probably the most lenient professor in recognizing my students don't know geography. But in this world, they are more in touch with the world than my generation has ever been. They are really the most global citizens, even if they don't know where your country is on the globe. Thirdly, they have embraced the explosion of technology. I mean, they have embraced it in ways that we can only envy, from PDAs to cell phones to internet to iPods. They are living in fact, they are creating a world that takes advantage of technology. They also live in a multisensorial state of being. All of their senses are active. They want them to be active all the time. And I'm a complete believer in the efficacy of doing this. They also have tremendous willingness to experience different points of view. That cannot be underestimated. In fact, it's one of the reasons for hope, because young people today are able to see the world through the eyes of someone else, through the eyes of someone less fortunate, through the eyes of someone more fortunate, through different cultures, through different languages. It is a tremendous capability that I find most young people embracing. We are also living in what is called the post-literate, experientially focused generation. Now, when I say post-literate, I mean it in the definition provided by the Tofflers in Future Shock. In other words, this is a generation that basically does not read books. Does that mean they are stupid? No, it does not mean they are stupid. They're probably smarter than previous generations. But they get this knowledge through a variety of different means. They get it through television, they get it through movies, they get it through the internet, they get it through myriad forms. But they are not literate in the traditional sense. Why is that a problem? Because most professors are of a generation that says if you don't read books, you must be ignorant. I hate to say it, but those professors are the ignorant ones. Let us continue. We also have to accept the fact that what passes for mundane existence, what passes for daily existence, is much different than any previous generation. Even the radicals of the 60s and 70s, it never for a minute ever entered my mind that somebody was going to bring a machine gun to school. It never. I mean, it was just not possible. Or that there would be metal detectors for when you enter school. This is a different world that we live in. And whether it is better or worse, I'm not going to judge. I'm just going to say it is different. The other thing is, this is a generation that knows the primacy of the marketplace. They understand. In fact, look how easy it was to go from pirating songs to willingly paying 99 cents for the download of a song for their iPod, knowing that the musician was going to make a few cents on this deal. They quickly adapted to that. And it was basically a moral issue. There were the threats of lawsuits, but once it was laid out to them that the person making the song was going to get screwed, guess what? Things changed. The other thing you have to accept is the increasing acceptance of diversity, of multiculturalism, of multi-ethnicity. We have a black man running for president in the United States. If you go on the Disney Channel, everyone likes to make fun of the Disney Channel. If you go on the Disney Channel, every race is dating every other race. Everyone is judged by what they are bringing, who they are, what their character is. So I'm there going, you know what? It's too easy to make fun of Disney. Because if you take a look at it, that's the world of the future. And I like it. That's the exact world we were protesting for in the 60s and 70s. Judge on the quality of character, not on the color of skin or ethnicity or culture or whatever.